And now give the floor to the representative of Germany.
Madam President, first of all, let me join colleagues and extend my special thanks to the Secretary General for the report on the situation of Afghanistan and Staffan de Mistura for his comprehensive briefing and Ambassador Tanin for his remarks. We commend Mr. de Mistura for his able leadership of UNAMA and would like to extend our sincere thanks to the entire UNAMA team for their tireless efforts. At the same time, we would like to commend Turkey for its constructive contributions as lead nation for Afghanistan in 2010. Madam President, on the occasion of the tragic passing away of Richard Holbrooke, I would like to offer once again my sincere condolences to the United States. I would like to pay tribute to Richard Holbrooke, who, as Special Envoy for Afghanistan and Pakistan, forcefully and tirelessly pleaded for a political solution. Madam President, Germany fully aligns itself with the statement of the European Union delivered later in the debate. I would like to add some remarks from our national perspective. Germany is a major contributor to ISAF and also a major international donor of development aid and assistance to Afghanistan. In 2010, in the perspective of preparing the process of handing over responsibility to the Afghan government, we have substantially increased our civilian engagement to $580 million US. I would like to focus in my intervention on the following three aspects. Firstly, the political dialogue and reintegration. Secondly, the evolution of international engagement in Afghanistan. And thirdly, UNAMA's future role during the process of transition and beyond. Madam President, the German federal government has presented a comprehensive report to Parliament regarding the situation in Afghanistan and the progress made since the beginning of the international community's engagement in 2001. The report does not hide certain setbacks, but at the same time stresses some encouraging positive trends, such as training of Afghan security forces is progressing at a higher speed than expected. Access to medical services across the country has significantly improved. Infrastructure development projects in border areas in northern Afghanistan are starting to make a positive difference in the lives of the local population. When presenting the report to Parliament, the Bundestag, German Foreign Minister Guido Westerwelle underscored Germany's continued strong support for the Kabul process, as well as the concept of transition of responsibilities. He reaffirmed Germany's unaltered commitment to assist the government and the people of Afghanistan in their endeavor to rebuild their country. We remain strongly convinced that military means alone can and will never lead to a sustainable solution of the conflict. In the end, only a comprehensive political process can lead the way to sustainable peace and stability in Afghanistan and the region. Madam President, based on the mandate of last summer's peace jirga, the Afghan government initiated the Afghan Peace and Reintegration Program. We all know that this process will need skillful diplomatic handling and patience, and we should provide the time necessary for it. The international community must continue to support also financially the Afghan government in offering options for reintegration for those who renounced violence. In 2010, Germany has provided the amount of approximately $13 million US to the reintegration program, and we have earmarked for the same purpose more than $50 million US within the next 4 years. Madam President, in the year 2010, at the international conferences of London and Kabul and the NATO summit in Lisbon, the principle of Afghan ownership and the framework for transition have been put into place. A lot has been achieved for security and political stability. A peace council representing key groups of society has become operational. The Afghan peace and reintegration program has been put into place, and the government is working on implementing the substantial commitments made. Democratic elections have been held, and we join others in urging all parties involved in outstanding issues concerning the elections to address them in a way consistent with Afghan institutions' responsibilities as defined by law and Afghan constitution. Madam President, the year 2011 will be crucial. First steps of transition will have to be made. And although transition does not mean immediate withdrawal, as the Lisbon NATO summit put it very clearly, the international community, together with the Afghan government, will have to define the terms of reference for the transformation of its own engagement after 2014. That is an international engagement in Afghanistan beyond combat troops. At the NATO summit in Lisbon, Afghan President Karzai officially suggested that Germany should consider to host an international conference on Afghanistan at the end of 2011, 10 years after the Petersburg Conference, again in the former capital of the Federal Republic of Germany, the city of Bonn. The German government responded positively to the Afghan president's request. In the light of the developments in 2011, this conference may provide a useful platform for evaluating the progress achieved in the process of transition of responsibilities. The international community might wish to use this conference for discussing the next steps to take on the remaining road to transition and the parameters of the long-term engagement beyond 2014. And finally, this conference could also provide an additional positive momentum to the political process in Afghanistan and the region. Madam President, with the transition of security responsibility progressing, the international community and the Afghan government need to constantly reconsider their priorities and adjust them accordingly. This includes UNAMA. With the environment in Afghanistan changing and the setup of the international presences gradually evolving towards transition, the Security Council will need to reconsider UNAMA's priorities, competences, and resources. The discussion process needs to start in 2011. The members of this council will have to develop a common understanding of the future role of UNAMA in a changing environment in Afghanistan. The council will need to provide clear guidance and appropriate financial means for UNAMA's role within the international network of mutually reinforcing civilian institutions for resistance in Afghanistan. As an incoming member of this council, Germany is prepared and willing to live up to the responsibility and contribute constructively to this process. We are ready to further strengthen the UN assistance mission to Afghanistan and to contribute to a peaceful, strong, and prosperous Afghanistan. Thank you for your attention.
I thank the representative of Germany for his statement.